Okay. No, that's it.
Have you seen my screen right now? Yes, it's okay, right? So
Yes, loud and clear.
I'm so sorry. So before beginning my presentation, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to the conference committee and conference team for giving me a chance to share my study today. So thank you so much for your support. That we are here today to attend the presentation. So thank you so much for all of you, and your presence here means a lot to me. So this is the second time I attend a research conference held by Bangkok University. Last year, I was a graduate student from Bangkok University. And this year, I am an instructor in the public relations department at Yassan University of Đà Lạt, Vietnam. So it's a pity that after 2 years of having attended an online conference, there was no online opportunity to meet the committees and other researchers in person. So I hope in the third time I can meet everyone in person. Okay, so without further ado, I will start my presentation right now. So okay, let me share my research with you all. This is about how do the influencing factors of key opinion leaders on social network affect Vietnamese consumer behavior, consumer purchase intention. So this is the agenda for today. So first of all, I will provide an introduction and the purpose of the research, why I decided to conduct the research and the theory that I used to conduct the research. Then I move on and give the hypotheses that were tested in the material and methods part. And I'll do for the method that I use to collect my data and to analyze the data collected before providing the results. And the result will be discussed, and I'll conclude with some implication of the research. So implication regarding practice and implication regarding research. So talk about the rationales and problem first. In general, I have 3 rationales and problems that drove me to conduct the research. First of all, we are living in a technology revolution known as the 4.0 revolutions, and the revolution entered the shock of the projection and had an impact on a technology related industry. So some statistics to back this up, there was over 5 billion mobile user and 4.6 billion internet user in the world in 2021. So meanwhile, in Vietnam market, there were nearly 70 million internet users and more than 150 million internet connected devices. So second, social networks are rapidly evolving with 1.3 million new users joining the previous year. People spend 3.7 trillion hours per year on the social media. So, and the third, the number of businesses effectively utilizing social media application improving across a wide range of the industry and business field. And at last, advertisers are currently using KOLs, influencers, stories, live stream, and so on in the trends of using influencers and KOLs on social media. Being the most important, the most popular in 2019 and thriving 2022 and 2021. So the predicted to continue to grow strongly in the following year. So that's why I set 3 questions from my research. The most however, the most important question I want to check is what aspects of KOLs influence consumer purchase intention. So you also can see my objects through the research question I want to talk. I already talked about above. Based on them, I already set 2 objectives from my from my research. Move on the materials and methods part. I would love you know about more about the KOL in Vietnam. And there are 3 types of KOLs in Vietnam right now, like celebrities, influencers, and mass leaders. So, and the first theory supporting my research is consumer behavior theory. Consumer behavior is defined by many experts a definition from Philip Kotler, you know, right? So who argues that consumer behavior is a set of actions that occur during the process of the identifying a need to purchase and after purchasing a product. So, and according to the American Marketing Association, they define that consumer behavior is the interaction between environmental stimuli and human perception and behavior through which people change their lives. That's why I define consumer behavior as first, people thoughts and feeling during the shopping and consuming process. And the second, consumer is dynamic and interactive because they influenced by factors from the external environment and has an impact on that environment. So, and the last consumer includes the following activity: purchasing, using, and disposing of products and services. So, in this topic, in my study, I also mentioned the factors influencing consumer behavior. First, socio-cultural factors, subcultures, social class, personal factors, social determinants, and factors of psychology. So, talk about the consumer purchase intentions. It's were defined by Key and team as the desire to buy a product in the near future. Intention is set to contain factors that motivate and influence behavior. It denotes the degree to which a person is willing to try, as well as the amount of effort to put into complete the behavior. Besides, it's also mentioned by many other like agents and like Philip Kotler, like Gary Armstrong. And I can conclude that consumer use the key opinion leader as key opinion leaders opinions at a reference channel when making purchase decision, purchase intention, or forming purchase intention. You know, so another theory in my research is the technology acceptance model, or we call TAM. And you know, TM is specifically related to the reduction of an information system acceptability. And at the author of this study, I am interested in how Vietnamese consumers receive information from key opinion leaders and how that information influence their purchase intentions. So, and the goal of this model is to predict the acceptability of the tool and determine the chance that must be made the system to make it user-friendly. And I believe that the perception of the usefulness factors should be included as the dependent variables in the proposed research model. So finally, based on the previous theory and study, the past study, I have formulated the conceptual. And since then, I have assumed that there are 6 hypotheses can be seen here on your screen with 5 variables, which are ratings of key opinion leader, project suitability with key opinion leaders, and the interactiveness of key opinion leaders, belief in key opinion leaders, and the perception of usefulness. So, okay, move on the methodology part. The research were done by quantitative approach methods through 2 steps of the preliminary research and then official research. I choose targets from my research like a population and sample. In general, the survey targets the people who are Vietnamese between the age of 15 to 45, who have already a product at least once after reading articles, photos, and videos from KOLs. Based on the sample formula, the same for my research has at least 250 responses. But in Drew, I collected 542 valid answers for my research before analyzing. And the format for my questionnaire, you can see in very clearly here with 3 sections. First is screening question. The second is data question to check demographic. And the third is main question supporting my analysis. So about data analysis, my research uses SPSS and IMOS software to analyze data. Structural equation model, or we call SEM, will be formed to determine the influence of key opinion leader on Vietnamese consumer behavior, purchasing intention. Besides, I also check CFA and EFA also. So about the validity of the study, my research used the IOC index to check the questionnaire. And the results show that you can see here that the IOC score for my questionnaires was over 0.7. So it means that questionnaire could be conducted in a large-scale field survey. So about reliability of the study, I checked go back and forth with data collected from the retest. You can see the result here. Next is the result and discussion part. About the as for gender, there were more females than males responding, as accounted for 62.92%, and respondents age ranging from 15 to 29, ranked first with 241 respondents. Most of the respondents have been college and university students, and most of the respondents are students. Total number is let me see, 259. And respondents with incomes from 5 million Vietnam dong to 10 million Vietnam dong accounts for the highest. So about the analysis, move on the exploratory factors analysis result, I conducted a test of the appropriateness of the data through two quantitators, KMOs index and the Bartlett test. I used 25 observed variables, including the independent variable and mediating variables in an exploratory factors analysis EFA. And after 3 rounds, there are 7 observed variables eliminated because their factors loading were less than 0.3. So therefore, remaining 18 observed variable went to the final round to check the last EFA, and the final result meets the requirements, and the final result you can see in the table. And you can see in the table 4. In the table 4 also displays the rotated matrix of the EFA final round, where variables will come back into 4 variables: BT for British, BL for belief, UF for perceptive usefulness, and AT for attractiveness. In the results of EFA of dependent variable, which is purchase intentions, this research model will be based on the following criteria, like a CFA, TLA, CFA or greater or equal 0.9. And C-mean per DF is less than or equal 0.3, and or MSEA is less than or equal 0.06. Is work compatible with data market data. So result in tables 8 can you can see the scale composite reliabilities and average attractiveness were satisfactory. And you in your screen, there's ECFI standard dance plotting factor displayed in figure 2. So this is just model with and as this SEM standard and the result of the linear structure analysis showed that the model had the DF equal 188 with the chi-square statistical value of 412, and the indicators of DFA, CFA, TLA was all over 0.9. And C-mean per DF is less than 0.3. So therefore, the model fitted the market data had a statistical significance because the P is less than 0.05. So from this, and also there are some results below. There was the influence between the factor belief, perception of usefulness, and purchase intention after consumer refer KOLs on social media. So the estimated weights had a positive sign. indicating that the factors of belief, usefulness had a proportional impact on purchase intention after consumer refer KOL on social media, and the British and activeness had a proportional effect on belief, and belief showed the proportional effect on the usefulness. And there are some result from this, so because the limitation, so I can move on to the next line, and we can conclude that hypotheses were rejected because the hypotheses were accepted. So it means that project suitabilities with key opinion leader doesn't have a positive impact on the consumer belief through the KOL generated content on social network. So when compared to the finding of the previous study conducted in Vietnam and in the world, I discovered similarities with them. However, there are some minor differences between this study and previous study. For example, the result of this study rejected the project suitabilities of key opinion leader influencer in influencing the factors of the belief in key opinion leaders, whereas the study by Lê Giang Nam and Hoàng Thái Dân confirmed these terms. Besides, I also compared with other research and which was shown on the screen. Because of, I'm so sorry, because of the time limitation. So I also share, as I shared above, project suitability with KOLs has no effect on Vietnamese consumer purchase intentions. This demonstrates that Vietnamese consumers are currently less interested in project integrations with key opinion leaders because they believe in credibilities of key opinion leaders and believe that key opinion leaders can have a wide range of the experience and not restricted to a specific industry. So from hypothesis test result, we can know the conclusion, right? So besides, I want to add that consumer belief is the most important factors influencing Vietnamese consumer purchase intentions, and belief in key opinion leaders depends on their British and attractiveness, and KOLs are useful to consumer because the stable time searching for project information. So actually, I know that my research have some limitations because it's about the times. It just had a short time to conduct the research. Besides, it's quite difficult to collect the data because of the COVID-19 situation in Vietnam right now. And I suppose I believe my research have some significance. So in the future, strategists can apply my research on their way to find out the consumer behavior. And besides, it's useful for students together with the manager in their strategy development to win over Vietnamese consumer. And KOLs and influencers on the other hand are becoming increasingly active on TikTok platform today. So it can give in rise to a new concepts of that key opinion on summers. So in the future, I recommend that the next research we focus on the impact of KOC or key opinion consumers on TikTok application on Vietnamese consumers purchase intention. So that's the answer for my presentation, and thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Holly. That is actually, as I mentioned, no, very interesting. So because you're talking about KOL, which is, of course, obviously at this point, that is the future of marketing, you know, especially with online, online shopping and all that. I'd like to commend your PowerPoint presentation. It was aesthetically done. I really like the colors, you know, it's pink. Okay, so anyway, do we have questions now from our other participants, listeners? Okay, I know you're all maybe waiting for your turn, but if you can maybe join, no, by asking a question. Anyway, you mentioned already you're the future direction, no? You're trying to do maybe using TikTok, no, for KOC. That's another, no, the dimension, no, in marketing. Um, my question now would be, would you recommend, no, with your findings, would you say that to an entrepreneur, no, for someone who's starting an online business, would you encourage them to hire KOLs to
Sorry,
get a KO to get a KOL for their business?
uh,
To, of course, to be for the consumers to be aware of their businesses.
yeah, I got it. So actually, I have a YouTube channel in Vietnam,
Mm,
and I am a KOL in Vietnam, like a micro influencer in my
mm,
audience. So as I told you above, that the research is extremely beneficial for me. And some people like me, some people, and it's provide me a wealth of information to have the develop more in terms of creating content for my for YouTube channel, and further range for my KOL careers, my KOL career path. And so this is in this beneficial for KOL, other KOLs and business use the KOL on their communication strategies and communication plans. And at a chart above in the beginnings of my research, I told that key opinion lister or KOC or KOL or influencers in the trends in the next
mm-hmm.
decade. So that's why I think based on this, based on the results of this study, other strategists or managers can find out and make plans for them to find out a suitable KOL for their campaigns. Yeah.
Would you recommend using a local KOL or maybe get a foreign KOL?
I think uh, it's depend on the campaigns, and I refer the local KOL because they knows more about the audience in this country, and they have they understand the insight of their audience. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. No,